You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Bella, who says, rant about Game Grumps. I doubt I can really say anything about Game Grumps currently that won't be, like, outdated or just the same as something I said 5 years ago, because I have not been watching them. I was really shocked when I found out, like, recently, like maybe 6 months ago, that like it was just Aaron and Dan again, and like everybody else had basically left, and that they had made all these huge changes. I guess, and that had all happened like a while ago. I was like, oh shit, like everything's different now. But the thing is that you can only listen to people talk for so long about like their past, or about like things they've already talked about. It's like, for me, something like these rants. I mean, look, I'm known to repeat myself. Like, people will say, like, you'll hear the same stories from Digibro over and over and over again. Anything that I've latched onto, anything that I use as an example, especially, you're gonna hear me use that example a billion times. And I try to find reasons to have new things to talk about. So something like these rants is a perfect excuse where it's like, people can tell me to rant about things I haven't talked about yet, and, even if the way I talk about it isn't that different, at least I will have something to say that an opinion on something you haven't already heard me talk about before. Or I try to talk about, like, new shows, or shows I haven't talked about. Just, like, find media I haven't discussed and discuss that media. Because if it was just me doing Q&As all the time, you would literally just hear me talk about the same shit over and over and over again. As happens when I do Q&As, which is why I don't do them that much anymore. Like, I used to have even a patron-exclusive Q&A, and it was like, it would be the struggle for a couple of patrons to try to find enough new questions to ask me that they hadn't already heard the answers to. So, like, yeah, listening to Game Grumps, it's like, they talk about, it can be fun when they talk about, like, things they've gone and done, or, like, new work they've done and stuff, but, like, a lot of what they do is, stuff they don't really talk about that openly, like more behind the scenes kind of stuff, or stuff that has NDAs involved, so, and also they just don't, I love Aaron Hansen. I think that he's great at breaking down, like, some of the basics of game design and stuff, but he has never gone super deep, and it's kind of like he opened the door for a lot of people to do analysis, but he's not really super analytical himself. Like, the fact that he took so long to write the scripts of stuff like Sequelitis is evidence to the fact that, it's not like that just comes naturally to him to think of games that way. It's more like something he has to figure out why he feels the way he does. And so, like, it just seemed like the show had gotten to a point where I've heard everything these guys have to talk about, and they're not really, like, finding new things to talk about. They're more just reacting to the game. And I've never really been that interested in it as like a traditional Let's Play where you react to the game. That's why I don't watch those kind of videos. Like, the only reason I watched Game Grumps was that it was really just a podcast with game footage that in the JonTron days was hilarious, and in the Danny Sexbang days is really comfy. Because Dan is just great, and he's lovable, fun to listen to. Aaron, I relate to super strongly. It was a big influence on me. And, like, I even did return and watch, like, a year and a half ago or so when they did the Just Aaron Plays Mega Man X. I listened to all of that. And, like, it was entertaining, and it kind of took me back, but it also was still a lot of things I've heard him talk about before. It was kind of shocking how little his life seemed to have really changed, in the time that I've been listening to him, which Game Grumps started in 2012, I think. So it's been going for 7 fucking years. I don't know how much longer it's planning to go for. And I don't know really what's going on with it now. But yeah, like, it's like I've heard enough of these guys. And not to say that I don't think I could ever listen to them again. It would just have to be a different context, like a different project, or something that was, like, if Aaron was just reviewing new games that came out or something. I mean, not that I really want him to do that, because I don't really think he would be a great reviewer per se, but, like, if he was sharing thoughts on new things, that would be interesting. But I think really he's more going in the direction of being a voice actor and working on, just working on larger projects with people, and that Game Grumps is more like a day job kind of thing. So, you know, I don't really know if there's content that they would produce that would be necessarily like for me. You know, like they made that Daddy Dating Sim. Not really for me. I really respect that they did it. It looks cool for what it is, but you know, it's not for me. So, I don't know. I guess I look forward to if those guys do anything that would entertain me again, but I probably will not watch any more Game Grumps in the foreseeable future.